The message came in the middle of the night. Commander Sarah Chen was sleeping in her quarters aboard the Earth Defense Station when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. She jumped out of bed and ran to the command center. "What's happening?" she asked the duty officer. "We got a distress signal, Commander. It's not from any human ship. The computer says it's alien." Sarah's heart started beating fast. In all her 20 years in the Earth Space Force, she had never seen a real alien message. Earth had been looking for other life in space for hundreds of years. Now, finally, they had found it. "Put it on the main screen," she ordered. The screen lit up. The image was fuzzy at first, then became clear. Sarah gasped. She was looking at a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. It had blue skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and filled with tears. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into English. "Please help us," the alien said. Its voice was shaking with fear. "My name is Zala. I am from the planet Kepler 442b. Our world is under attack. A terrible enemy has come to destroy us all. We have tried to fight, but we are not strong enough. We are a peaceful people. We do not know how to make war." The alien's image flickered. Sarah could see explosions in the background. Buildings were on fire. Other aliens were running and screaming. "We found your planet by accident," Zala continued. "We have been watching your radio signals for many years. We know you humans are fighters. You have survived many wars. Please, if you have any kindness in your hearts, help us. We are dying." The message ended. The command center was quiet. Everyone stared at the empty screen. Sarah turned to her communications officer. "How far away is this planet?" "About 47 light years, Commander. At our fastest speed, it would take our ships 3 months to get there." "3 months," Sarah whispered. "By then, it might be too late." But Sarah knew what she had to do. She had sworn an oath to protect innocent life wherever it might be found. These aliens were asking for help. How could Earth turn away? She pressed the button for the emergency council. Within minutes, the screen filled with the faces of Earth's military leaders. Admiral Jackson, the head of the Earth Space Force, looked tired. It was still the middle of the night on Earth. "Commander Chen, this better be important," he said. "Sir, we have received a distress call from an alien civilization. They are under attack and asking for our help." The Admiral's eyes went wide. "Aliens? Are you sure this isn't some kind of joke?" "I'm sending you the message now, sir. You can see for yourself." Sarah transmitted the aliens' plea to Earth. She waited while the leaders watched. She could see their faces change from doubt to amazement to concern. "My God," whispered General Rodriguez. "They're real. Aliens are real, and they're asking us for help." Admiral Jackson was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke. "Commander, I want you to prepare a full report. Get our best scientists to study this message. Make sure it's not fake. If this is real, we need to decide what to do." "Sir, with respect, we don't have time for long studies. Did you see their planet? It's being destroyed right now. Every minute we wait, more of them die. Commander, you're talking about sending our fleet to fight an unknown enemy 47 light years away. We don't know anything about these aliens. They could be lying. This could be a trap." Sarah felt angry. "Sir, look at their faces. Look at their fear. These are not warriors trying to trick us. These are innocent people crying for help." The screen showed another leader, President Martinez of the United Earth Government. "What kind of enemy are we talking about? What's attacking them?" Sarah replayed part of the message. In the background, they could see dark ships in the sky. The ships were firing red beams that turned everything they touched to ash. The alien buildings had no weapons to fight back. "They call their enemy the Devourers," Sarah explained. "From what we can see, the Devourers are a race that destroys other civilizations. They seem to attack planets that cannot defend themselves." "How do we know they won't come to Earth next?" asked General Kim. The room was quiet. Sarah realized that the general was right. If these devourers like to attack peaceful worlds, Earth might be their next target. Maybe helping the aliens was also helping themselves. Admiral Jackson made his decision. Commander Chen, I'm giving you special orders. Take the Fifth Fleet and go to this planet. Find out what's really happening there. If these aliens are telling the truth, and if we can help them, then do it. Sarah smiled. The Fifth Fleet was Earth's most powerful military force. It had 20 battle cruisers, 50 destroyers, and hundreds of fighter ships. It was designed to protect Earth from any threat. Now it would travel to the stars to help strangers. Thank you, sir. When do we leave? As soon as possible. But, Commander, be careful. We don't know what we're sending you into. Come back alive. The connection ended. Sarah turned to her crew. They were all staring at her with excitement and fear. You heard the Admiral, she said. We're going to save some aliens. Get me Captain Morrison on the line. Tell him to prepare the Fifth Fleet for immediate departure. And someone wake up our xenobiology team. We're about to make first contact. As her crew rushed to follow orders, Sarah looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, an alien race was fighting for survival. Soon they would learn that Earth never ignored a call for help. The greatest adventure in human history was about to begin. Captain James Morrison stood on the bridge of the EDF Titan, the flagship of Earth's Fifth Fleet. Around him, 20 of humanity's most advanced warships prepared for the longest journey in human history. Each ship was loaded with weapons, supplies, and thousands of the best soldiers Earth had ever trained. All ships report ready for jump, Captain, said Lieutenant Kim from the navigation station. Morrison nodded. He had been fighting in space for 15 years, but he had never felt nervous like this before. They were about to travel farther than any human had ever gone. They were going to fight an enemy they knew nothing about, and they were doing it to save aliens they had never met. Open a channel to the fleet, he ordered. The communication screen lit up with the faces of 19 other ship captains. These were the best commanders in the Earth Space Force. Morrison had fought alongside most of them in the war against the Mars colonies. They had all proven themselves in battle. Ladies and gentlemen, Morrison began, today we make history. We are the first humans to leave our solar system to help another species. The aliens we are going to save have never seen humans before. They don't know what we can do, but they will learn that when Earth makes a promise, we keep it. Captain Torres of the EDF Thunder spoke up. Sir, do we know anything more about these devourers? Our scientists have studied the alien message. The enemy ships appear to use energy weapons similar to our plasma cannons, but their ships are bigger than ours. Intelligence estimates they have at least 50 ships attacking the alien planet. Captain Williams of the EDF Lightning looked worried. 50 ships against our 20? Those aren't good odds, Morrison smiled. Captain Williams, have you forgotten who we are? We are humans. We don't care about odds. Remember the Battle of Europa? We were outnumbered 3-1, and we still won. The other captains smiled. They all remembered that battle. The rebels had more ships, but Earth's forces had better tactics and stronger will to fight. In the end, determination had beaten numbers. Besides, Morrison continued, we have advantages. We're coming to help people who are being attacked. That always makes soldiers fight harder, and we have something these devourers have probably never seen before. What's that, sir? Asked Captain Chen of the EDF Storm. Human anger. When we see bullies hurting innocent people, we don't just fight. We fight with fury, and fury wins wars. The captains nodded. They understood. Every human soldier had grown up hearing stories about their ancestors fighting against evil. They had fought against dictators, against invaders, against anyone who tried to hurt the weak. It was in their blood. All ships, prepare for jump, Morrison ordered. Destination Kepler 442b. Time to arrival, 3 months. Godspeed, everyone. One by one, the Earth ships activated their faster-than-light engines. Space twisted around them, and they disappeared into the darkness between stars. Meanwhile, on the alien planet, the situation was getting worse. Zayla, crouched in a basement with her family. Her children were crying. Above them, they could hear the sound of the Devourer ships burning their city. "Mama, when will it stop?" asked her youngest daughter, Kira. Zala didn't know what to say. For 3 days, the Devourers had been destroying everything on their planet. They had already wiped out 6 cities. Millions of her people were dead. "I sent a message to another world," Zala whispered. "Maybe they will come to help us." Her husband, Toran, shook his head sadly. "No one will come, Zala. No one in the galaxy is strong enough to fight the Devourers. They have destroyed 100 worlds. We are just another meal for them." But Zala still had hope. She had studied the radio signals from Earth for many years. She had learned about humans and their history. She knew they were different from other species. Humans never gave up. They never left their friends behind. They never ignored cries for help. "They will come," she said firmly. "The humans will come." Above them, a Devourer ship floated over their city. The ship was black and shaped like a giant insect. It had dozens of weapons pointed down at the buildings below. The ship's captain, a creature called Vex, looked at the destruction with satisfaction. Vex was tall and thin with gray skin and red eyes. His people had been conquering worlds for thousands of years. They were the most feared race in the galaxy. When they arrived at a planet, they gave the inhabitants one choice: surrender or die. Most chose to surrender and become slaves. Those who fought back were destroyed. "Commander," said one of his officers, "we have detected another radio transmission from the planet. They are still trying to call for help." Vex laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound. "Let them call. No one will answer. No one in the galaxy is foolish enough to fight us. We have destroyed every fleet that has ever challenged us. Should we stop their transmissions? No. Let them waste their time. It amuses me to watch them hope for rescue that will never come." But Vex was wrong. Far away in space, the Earth fleet was traveling faster than light toward the alien world. Every day they received new messages from the planet. The messages were desperate pleas for help. They showed more cities being destroyed, more aliens being killed. The human crews watched these messages with growing anger. They saw alien children running from explosions. They saw families torn apart by war. They saw a peaceful civilization being murdered by bullies. "How much longer until we reach them?" Captain Morrison asked his navigator every day. "2 more months, sir," came the answer. Then 6 more weeks. Then 1 more month. Morrison knew that every day they traveled, more aliens died. But there was nothing they could do except push their engines harder and prepare for the biggest fight of their lives. In the ship's training rooms, human soldiers practiced combat drills. They studied everything they could learn about Devourer weapons and tactics. They sharpened their skills and prepared their hearts for battle. "Remember," Sergeant Major Davis told his Marines, "we're not just fighting for Earth this time. We're fighting for people we've never met, on a world we've never seen. But they asked for our help, and we said yes. That makes them our responsibility." The Marines nodded. They understood. It didn't matter that the aliens looked different or came from another world. They were innocent people being attacked by evil. That was enough. As the Earth fleet raced through space, the alien planet continued to suffer. But now the aliens had something they had never had before: hope. Word had spread across their world that help was coming from the stars. "The humans are coming," aliens whispered to each other in their hiding places. "The warriors from Earth are coming to save us." They didn't know if it was true. They had never seen humans fight. But something deep inside told them that these distant cousins would not abandon them. They were right. 2.5 months had passed since the Earth fleet left home. The ships were only 2 weeks away from the alien planet when they received a new message. This one was different from the others. Commander Chen was sleeping when the communication officer woke her up. "Ma'am, you need to see this. It's from the aliens, but it's not a distress call." Chen hurried to the communications center. On the screen was the same blue-skinned alien who had first asked for help. But now Zala looked different. Her eyes were not filled with tears anymore. Instead, they burned with determination. "Humans of Earth," Zala began. "My name is Zala, and I speak for what remains of my people. For 3 months, we have hidden in caves and basements while the devourers destroy our world. Half of our cities are gone. Millions of us are dead. But we are still alive, and we are still fighting." The image changed to show alien resistance fighters. They were using simple weapons against the massive devourer ships. It was like watching ants fight elephants, but the aliens refused to give up. "We have learned something about ourselves during these dark months," Zala continued. "We thought we were a peaceful people who could not fight. We were wrong. When someone threatens our children, we can be as fierce as any warrior. The devourers expected us to surrender. Instead, we have become their nightmare." The screen showed aliens attacking a devourer ground patrol. The aliens had built bombs from mining equipment. When the devourers came to search a building, the aliens collapsed it on top of them. "We have studied your history while we waited for you to arrive," Zala said. "We learned about your wars, your struggles, your refusal to quit when things seemed hopeless. We have tried to be like you. We have tried to be human." Commander Chen felt tears in her eyes. These aliens had been inspired by humanity's example. They had learned to fight by watching how humans fought. "But we cannot win alone," Zala admitted. "The devourers are too strong. Every day more of us die. We need you now more than ever. Please hurry, we are running out of time." The message ended. The communications center was quiet for a moment. Then Chen spoke. "Get me Captain Morrison on the Titan. Tell him we need to go faster." On the flagship, Morrison gathered his senior officers. "How much can we push the engines?" "Sir, we're already at maximum safe speed," said the chief engineer. "If we go any faster, we risk damaging the faster-than-light drive." Morrison thought for a moment. If their engines broke down, they would be stuck in space. They would never reach the aliens in time. But if they didn't take the risk, they might arrive too late anyway. "Push the engines to 110%, he ordered. "If we break down, we'll figure out how to fix it. Those aliens have been fighting for 3 months. We're not going to let them down now." The engineer looked nervous, but nodded. "Yes, sir. All ships, emergency speed." The Earth fleet began moving faster than any human ships had ever moved before. The engines screamed with the effort, but they held together. The ships raced through space like arrows shot from a bow. On the alien planet, the situation was becoming desperate. The devourers had grown tired of the alien resistance. They decided to end the war quickly by destroying the planet's largest remaining city. Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the city below. 2 million aliens lived there. It would be the biggest massacre yet. "Begin the bombardment," he ordered. "I want every building reduced to ash." 50 devourer ships moved into position above the city, their weapons powered up, ready to rain. Death on the helpless civilians below. But in the underground tunnels beneath the city, the aliens were not helpless anymore. Zala and her resistance fighters had been preparing for this moment. They had built their biggest bomb yet, using every explosive they could find. "Are you sure this will work?" asked Toran. He was now a resistance fighter like his wife. "It has to work," Zala replied. "If we can bring down just one of their big ships, it will show the galaxy that the devourers can be beaten." Above them, the devourer bombardment began. Red beams of energy crashed down from the sky, turning buildings into dust. The noise was incredible. The ground shook like an earthquake. "Now!" Zala shouted. The aliens triggered their bomb. It was hidden in a tall building directly beneath the Devourer flagship. The explosion was so powerful that it reached all the way up to the ship. Vex felt his ship shake. Lights flickered on the bridge. "What was that?" he demanded. "Sir, they detonated some kind of explosive device. Our lower hull has taken damage." Vex was shocked. In all his years of conquest, he had never seen primitives damage one of his ships. It was impossible. These aliens were supposed to be weak. "Increase." "The bombardment," he ordered angrily. "Kill them all!" But the damage to his ship had caused problems with the weapon systems. Instead of precise strikes, the beams began firing wildly. Some hit other Devourer ships by accident. In the chaos, Zala's people launched their final attack. Thousands of aliens came out of hiding at the same time. They threw bombs, fired stolen weapons, and attacked with anything they could find. Most of them died, but they caused confusion among the Devourer forces. For the first time in the war, the Devourers retreated. They pulled back to regroup and plan a new attack. In her underground shelter, Zala smiled. They had hurt the enemy. They had proven that the Devourers were not unstoppable. Maybe, just maybe, they could hold out until the humans arrived. Far above the planet, sensors detected something new. Ships were approaching from deep space, ships that didn't match any known design. The lead Devourer commander studied the readings. "What are those ships? Where did they come from?" "Unknown, sir. But they're coming fast, very fast." The commander wasn't worried. He had 50 ships. Even if these newcomers were hostile, what could they do against the mighty Devourer fleet? He was about to find out. In space, 20 human warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They had arrived at last. Captain Morrison stood on his bridge and looked at the alien world below. He could see the burn marks where cities used to be. He could see the Devourer ships hanging in space like vultures. "All ships," he broadcasted to his fleet. "You see that planet down there? Innocent people are dying on it. You see those black ships? They're the ones doing the killing. I don't know about you, but that makes me angry. And when humans get angry, we do something about it." 20. Human captains answered at the same time. "Yes, sir." "Then let's go save some aliens. All ships, attack formation. Show these Devourers what humans do to bullies." The Earth fleet began moving toward the enemy. They were outnumbered more than 2-1. The enemy ships were bigger and had been fighting for thousands of years. But the humans had something the Devourers had never faced before. They had righteous fury. And they were about to teach the galaxy what that meant. The Devourer commander looked at his screen in confusion. 20 small ships were flying toward his fleet of 50 massive warships. Either these newcomers were incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. "Sir, the unknown ships are trying to communicate with us," reported his communication officer. "Put them on screen. Let's see what these fools want." The screen lit up with the image of a human male in a military uniform. The Devourer commander had seen many species beg for mercy over the years. He expected this one to do the same. "Captain." Morrison looked directly at the Devourer commander. His face was calm, but his eyes were hard as steel. "I am Captain James Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. You are attacking innocent people. Leave this system immediately or we will remove you." The Devourer commander laughed. It was a harsh, grating sound. "You? Remove us? Little creature? Do you know who we are? We are the Devourers. We have conquered 100 worlds. Your tiny ships are no match for our fleet." Morrison's expression didn't change. "I can see you have 50 ships. We have 20. But you made one mistake." "What mistake is that?" "You hurt people we promised to protect. That was your last mistake." The communication ended. The Devourer commander was still laughing when the human ships opened fire. The battle began with a flash of light that could be seen from the planet's surface. Human weapons struck the nearest Devourer ships with incredible force. The aliens on the planet looked up at the sky in amazement. The stars were fighting each other. On the surface, Zala crawled out of her shelter to watch the battle. Her people gathered around her, pointing at the lights in the sky. "Are those the humans?" asked little Kira. "Yes, my daughter. The humans have come to save us. The space battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Devourer ships were bigger and more heavily armored, but the human ships were faster and smarter. They moved like a pack of wolves hunting giant beasts." Captain Morrison coordinated the attack from his flagship. "Thunder and Lightning, attack the left flank. Storm and Hurricane, take the right. All other ships follow my lead. We're going straight through the middle." The human ships split into 3 groups. Each group attacked from a different direction. The Devourers had never faced tactics like this before. They were used to enemies who flew straight at them and tried to trade shot for shot. Captain Torres of the Thunder spoke over the communication channel. "Sir, their shields are incredibly strong. Our weapons are barely scratching them." "Then we'll have to get creative," Morrison replied. "Remember the Trojan horse maneuver from the Academy?" Torres smiled. Every Earth Space Force officer knew that tactic. It was dangerous and crazy, which made it perfect for humans. "Storm and Hurricane, give us covering fire. Thunder, you're with me. We're going to ram the biggest ship." "Sir, ramming will destroy our ships," protested Captain Williams. "Not if we do it right. Wait for my signal, then jump to faster than light speed at the last second. The momentum will carry us through their hull, but we'll be gone before the collision." It was an insane plan. If they miscalculated by even a second, their ships would be destroyed. But insane plans were a human specialty. The Thunder and the Titan flew straight at the Devourer flagship. Enemy weapons fired at them, but the other human ships drew most of the fire away. At the last possible moment, both ships jumped to faster-than-light speed. To the Devourers, it looked like the human ships had disappeared. Then, suddenly, 2 massive holes appeared in their flagship. The human ships had passed completely through the enemy vessel at faster-than-light speed, leaving destruction in their wake. The Devourer flagship broke in half and exploded. Vex, who had been on the bridge, was thrown across his command center. Half his crew was dead. His ship was dying around him. "Impossible," he whispered. "No one can destroy a Devourer ship. No one." But the humans were just getting started. They regrouped and attacked again. This time they used a different tactic. Instead of trying to destroy the big ships, they targeted the weapons systems. Human fighter craft, small and fast as mosquitoes, swarmed around the Devourer vessels and attacked their gun turrets. The Devourers found themselves in a situation they had never experienced before. They couldn't hit the tiny human fighters, but the fighters could hit them. One by one, their weapons were being destroyed. "All ships retreat to defensive formation," ordered the new Devourer commander. The old one was dead with his flagship, but the humans didn't give them time to regroup. Morrison had studied the enemy during the first attack. He had learned their weaknesses. "All ships concentrate fire on their engine sections. If we can't destroy them quickly, we'll strand them here until reinforcements arrive." The human fleet focused all their weapons on the engines of the Devourer ships. The enemy vessels began losing power. Several of them started drifting helplessly in space. Down on the planet, the aliens watched in amazement. The mighty Devourer fleet, which had seemed unstoppable just hours before, was being torn apart by the smaller human ships. "How are they doing it?" asked Toran. "The human ships are so much smaller." Zala smiled. She had studied human military history. She understood what was happening. "Size doesn't matter," she explained. "The humans are better fighters. They've been fighting wars for thousands of years. They know things about combat that the Devourers never learned." "What kinds of things?" "Teamwork, creativity, the willingness to sacrifice themselves for others. The Devourers fight for conquest. The humans fight for justice. That makes all the difference." In space, the battle was turning into a rout. The Devourers were retreating, but the humans weren't letting them escape. They chased the enemy ships and destroyed them one by one. Morrison opened a channel to the surviving Devourer vessels. This is your final warning. Surrender now, or we will destroy every one of your ships." The Devourer commander was desperate. His fleet was broken. Half his ships were destroyed or disabled. He had never faced defeat before, and he didn't know how to handle it. "You cannot do this to us," he screamed. "We are the Devourers. We are the masters of the galaxy." "Not anymore," Morrison replied calmly. "Today you learned that there are still people in this galaxy who will fight back. We are humans. We don't bow to bullies, and we don't abandon our friends." The few remaining Devourer ships tried to escape to faster-than-light speed, but the humans were ready for them. They had surrounded the enemy fleet completely. There was nowhere to run. One by one, the last Devourer ships surrendered. The great fleet that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries had been defeated by 20 human vessels. On the planet below, millions of aliens came out of hiding. They looked up at the sky and cheered. The nightmare was over. The humans had saved them. Zala stood with her family in the ruins of their city. Tears of joy ran down her face. "They did it," she whispered. "The humans actually did it." But the battle was only the beginning. Now came the harder task of rebuilding a world and forming friendships between species who had never met before. The real adventure was just starting. Captain Morrison stood in the transport shuttle as it descended toward the alien planet. Through the window, he could see the damage the Devourers had caused. Entire cities were nothing but smoking ruins. But he could also see something else. Aliens coming out of hiding, looking up at the human ships with hope in their eyes. "Sir, we're getting hundreds of communication requests from the surface," reported Lieutenant Kim. "They all want to thank us." Morrison nodded. "Tell them we'll speak with their leaders as soon as we land. And Kim, make sure our medical teams are ready. These people have been through hell." The shuttle landed in what used to be the capital city. Now it was mostly rubble, but the aliens had cleared a space for the humans to land. Thousands of them had gathered to meet their rescuers. Morrison stepped off the shuttle with a small team of officers. The first thing he noticed was how quiet everything was. No cheering, no celebration. The aliens just stared at the humans with wide eyes, as if they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Then one alien stepped forward. Morrison recognized her from the messages. It was Zayla, the one who had first asked for help. She was smaller than Morrison had expected, barely reaching his chest. Her blue skin was dirty and scarred from months of hiding. But when she looked at him, her eyes were bright with intelligence and gratitude. "Captain Morrison," she said in English. The computer translator made her voice sound mechanical, but Morrison could hear the emotion behind it. "You came. You actually came." Morrison removed his helmet so she could see his face. "We promised we would help. Humans keep their promises." Zala's eyes filled with tears. She fell to her knees and bowed her head. "You saved us all. How can we ever repay you?" Morrison was uncomfortable with the bowing. He reached down and gently lifted Zala to her feet. "You don't need to repay us. And you don't need to bow. We're allies now. Allies help each other." Around them, other aliens began to approach. Children hid behind their parents, curious about these strange new beings. Adults stared in wonder at the humans' faces, trying to understand creatures who had traveled across the galaxy to help strangers. Dr. Sarah Martinez, the expedition's chief medical officer, knelt down beside an injured alien child. The child's arm was broken, probably hurt during the bombings. The alien parents watched nervously as the human doctor examined their child. "It's okay," Dr. Martinez said softly. "I'm going to help." She worked quickly, using a portable medical device to heal the broken bone. Within minutes, the child's arm was as good as new. The alien parents stared in amazement. They had never seen medical technology that advanced. The child smiled and hugged the human doctor. "Your medicine is like magic," said the child's mother. Dr. Martinez smiled back. "Not magic, just technology. and we'll teach it to you if you want to learn. Over the next few days, more human ships arrived. Not warships this time, but supply vessels filled with food, medicine, and construction equipment. Earth had sent everything the aliens needed to rebuild their world. Commander Chen oversaw the relief efforts from orbit. She watched as human engineers worked alongside alien workers to rebuild the destroyed cities. She saw human doctors treating alien patients. She saw human teachers showing alien children how to use Earth technology. "It's remarkable," she told Captain Morrison during one of their daily reports. Two species who had never met before, working together like old friends. Morrison nodded. He was standing in the ruins of an alien school, watching human and alien children play together. The language barrier didn't seem to matter to the children. They had invented their own games that everyone could understand. Children adapt faster than adults, he observed. These kids will grow up thinking it's normal to have friends from other planets. But not everything was easy. Some of the aliens were still afraid of the humans. They had been peaceful for so long that the idea of making friends with warriors frightened them. Zala helped with this problem. She had become the unofficial ambassador between the two species. She explained to her people that humans were not violent by nature. They only fought when they had to protect someone. "Look at their actions, not their weapons," she told a group of worried alien elders. "Yes, they destroyed the Devourer fleet, but since they arrived here, have they hurt any of us? No. They have only helped. They are healers and builders, not just fighters." The aliens began to understand. Humans were complex beings who could be both gentle and fierce depending on what the situation required. 1 month after the battle, Zala was invited to visit the human flagship. She had never been in space before, and the experience amazed her. Through the ship's windows, she could see her world from above. It was beautiful and blue, like Earth. Captain Morrison showed her around the ship. She was fascinated by everything. The engines that could travel faster than light, the computers that could translate any language, the medical bay that could heal almost any injury. "Your technology is incredible," she said. "You could have used it to conquer the galaxy, like the Devourers did. Why didn't you?" Morrison thought about the question. "Because conquest doesn't make you strong. It makes you feared, but not strong. Real strength comes from helping others, from building things instead of destroying them. The Devourers were powerful, but they were also weak. That's why we could beat them." Zala nodded. She understood now why her people had been right to call Earth for help. Humans were not just better fighters. They were better people. "What happens now?" she asked. "Will you stay here forever?" "No," Morrison replied. "We'll stay until your world is rebuilt and you can defend yourselves. Then we'll go home. But we'll stay in contact. We'll trade with each other, share knowledge, maybe visit each other's worlds. You're part of the galactic community now." "What if the Devourers come back? What if other enemies attack us?" Morrison smiled. "Then you call us again. We'll come running, just like we did this time. That's what allies do." 6 months later, the reconstruction was complete. The alien cities had been rebuilt, stronger and more beautiful than before. The aliens had learned to use human technology, and the humans had learned much about alien science and culture. It was time for the Earth fleet to go home. The departure ceremony was held in the rebuilt capital city. Millions of aliens came to say goodbye to their human friends. There were tears and hugs and promises to stay in touch. Zala gave Captain Morrison a gift, a crystal sculpture that showed 2 hands reaching across the stars to touch each other. One hand was human, the other was alien. "This represents our friendship," she explained. "No matter how far apart we are still connected." Morrison was touched. He gave her a gift in return, a small Earth flag that had flown on his ship during the battle. "This is to remind you that Earth will always be your friend." As the human ships prepared to leave, Morrison sent one final message to the alien planet. People of Kepler 442b, it has been an honor to fight beside you and to help rebuild your world. You are no longer alone in the galaxy. You have friends on Earth, and we have friends here. Remember this day, and remember that good people will always stand together against evil. Until we meet again, may your skies be peaceful and your future bright. The Earth fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed and disappeared into the darkness between stars. But they left behind something that had never existed before, the first alliance between Earth and an alien civilization. On both worlds, children looked up at the night sky and dreamed of the day when they might visit their friends among the stars. The galaxy had become a smaller, friendlier place, and somewhere in the depths of space, other civilizations had heard the story of how a small human fleet had defeated the mighty Devourers. They began to hope that maybe, just maybe, the age of tyrants was coming to an end. The humans had shown the galaxy something it had forgotten, that courage and compassion were stronger than fear and hatred. It was a lesson that would echo across the stars for generations to come. The rescue of Kepler 442b was just the beginning. Humanity's greatest adventure, bringing peace and friendship to the galaxy, had only just begun.